Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
And as we had said, so many people are so happy to see 2020 go and are sending out those positive intentions for 2021.
And that's what we're going to do. It's going to be all about sending out positive stuff to form 2021.
Yes. And, first, you have to be able to see it. You have to be able to envision it. When I think about like the greats, and I'm of the era where, if I think about superstars, I'm thinking about like Michael Jordan and, along those lines. And, of course, since then we've had many others. They are able to see something, clearly see it and visualize it. And at least on the individual level, they could rise above and often even pull their teammates up to places where they didn't think they would be able to go.
And that's a really beautiful thing when somebody has that gift.
It is, and it's to be cultivated. And how do we do it? Well, we have to go within. And this is something that it can be very, very difficult for people in this, rush world to take time to just sit there still and just clear out your cobwebs. Clear your mind. Allow your thinking process to reveal itself to you. So much of what we have going through our head, 80% of what goes through our head is the same thing every single day. It's just almost like this nonstop, tape CD, that's just always running.
Well, and, most of what goes through our mind is subconscious because our brains, they kind of record how we handled things in the past, what had happened, how we handled it then. And then it's just this constant cycle of the subconscious kind of ruling the roost. And if we've been through certain traumas, that can make it difficult to create new pathways when your subconscious is always saying, hey, wait, I got this. I know what to do.
And so we shared, the last two videos that we did were kind of like, hang on tight, guys, because the roller coaster ride's about to get like crazy. Like you thought you went down the big hill. No. The big hill's still right in front of us here. And so, there's a couple of remarks like, just basically saying why all the, bad news or, let's hear something uplifting. Well, it's a case of preparing because, that's our job is to prepare. We feel like, we are here to communicate with those that will listen and help them to understand what's coming and how it's going to impact us and how things are going to change. There's drastic change right around the corner. Drastic change is coming right around the corner. Ultimately, it's going to lead to a whole new way of doing things as, all the light is going to be thrown on the darkness, so to speak, and everything is going to it's going to be shocking how much is coming out. And if we're not prepared and rooted and grounded, it's going to make it a lot tougher on people. And you will have a lot of people already, there's so many people that are feeling down, feeling depressed, don't know what to do, feeling anxious. People are feeling anxious, irritated, losing sleep, can't sleep, getting up at all strange hours. There's a lot of anxiety out there. There's a lot of tension out there. So we have to do our best to allow our bodies to function optimally in these times. When you are in that fight or flight, you're producing cortisol. There's only two sides. It's an on-off switch with the nervous system. You're in the sympathetic or you're in the parasympathetic. It's one or the other. You're either producing, stress hormones or you're producing serotonin, melatonin, feel-good hormones. And your body's either basically breaking down at a faster pace and deteriorating quicker because of all the cortisol, which, in a true fight or flight condition can help you to function, at an extreme level, as we've seen with people, moving objects off of people that, you wouldn't be able to do it under normal circumstances. But when we're constantly in that, it just basically, it starts to wear us out. It starts to wear out all the organs. when we meditate, when we do things like yoga and QiGong and Tai Chi, and even when we just get into a good zone listening to something that is uplifting musically, all these things can help to switch that switch so that your body is given the time to rest and recoup.
Right. And I kind of view ourselves as always standing at attention, always on guard, always ready to serve you, to do what needs to be done next. And I think it's a really good idea when we do sit still and we do meditate to give our whole bodies just that rest and that kindness and that gentleness, and that love that they really, really need and deserve and desire.
And I've always been into physical fitness, health, and wellness. That's just who I am. And it really came about because we moved a lot and we were always the poorest family, and my parents tried to get us into the best area, but, I would get picked on. And so I got picked on incessantly in like 4th and 5th and 6th grades. By basically neighborhood bullies, the actual gang that would circle me all the time and just kind of terrorize me. It basically drove me within. So I spent a lot of time reading. And then at 12, I saw a Chuck Norris movie that got me inspired and went and joined a karate school. And then I also saw the Incredible Hulk movie, series came out. TV show came out, and that inspired me to go get a weight set. And so I started to train. And then when the summer vacation was over and I was going to go into 7th grade, I got circled by the usual group, but I attacked the leader, and then people were afraid of me, and it just changed. Because sometimes we do have to fight back, and we do have to stand our ground. But, I'm of the tendency where I don't want to ever hurt anybody, and that's just me, because you recognize that in hurting others, we ultimately are hurting ourselves. But at the same time, we do have to defend ourselves, because the evil will run rampant in the world at times as well.
Mm-hmm. Searching for that path of peace is a very important thing to do. I think that's the best thing to do, but like Mike said, at times there might be a different path we need to take.
Right, and not to get too off topic, but that was my introduction into both martial arts and then working out on a regular basis, and that has been always a lifelong thing for me, having studied Taekwondo, Hapkido, Jiu-Jitsu, and a couple other arts, and then gravitating into Tai Chi and QiGong, which really is something I've been very, very passionate about, because I've noticed such a difference in myself, a deeper sense of peace that has come through, and be able to reach like different places that in past I would not have been able to. And it's something that takes time. It does take time and effort, but there's so many health benefits, like health benefits of yoga: stress relief, improved sleep, better posture, relaxed mood, deeper breathing, weight loss, enhanced productivity, and better, everything benefits. Everything benefits. And we'll find that, and there's many different types of yoga. There's tons of different types of yoga. We're talking in general about some form of hatha yoga, but, there's many other types too, and we've done videos on them talking about them. QiGong has so many benefits, and you can see 30 of them listed here. And I could share with you, my first QiGong teacher is in her 80s, and she can still just swoop down into a full split. She could balance and put her head, her foot over her head, and probably stay like that for hours. In her 80s now, tremendous dexterity and coordination. I mean, there's no worrying about falling down and breaking your hip with her. It will keep you loose and flexible, but the other thing it'll do is it will build your immune system. It'll build what we call Wei Qi. Wei Qi is like your external Qi field. You could think of it as your body's magnetosphere. And as we know, with the Earth's magnetosphere in decline, other energies can come in and affect it greater. When your Wei Qi field is strong, you won't get sick. And so when I got Lyme disease, all of a sudden I felt like I was in my 80s overnight. And, I didn't go the pharmaceutical route. Instead, I started practicing QiGong. I saw a naturopath, who gave me some herbs, things like that. I changed my diet, and I got to be better than ever. My health improved drastically.
Which is really, really wonderful. And I've noticed a big difference in my life too since I've started doing it. A stabilizing of the mood and just being able to fall asleep better. So many things have improved. It's really, truly life changing when you become dedicated.
And as an energy worker, the Qigong practice is vital because this allows me to build up enough life force so that I don't take on typically the illnesses of others.
And that's where I'm lacking. Mike has many, many years on top of, me as far as doing the Qigong. I'm only a couple years into it, but it has built his energy body so that, unfortunately, sometimes I do get the attachments that come off of other people, but luckily he can ground them out and get them off of me. But yeah, I'm getting stronger and stronger, but it does definitely build that energy body. So it makes you stronger so you can manipulate energy too.
And, also so that you can actually, cleanse people of parasitic attachments. Because again, the stronger our life force is, the more powerful we are overall.
Right. And that's one thing that we do a lot of. We do get a lot of attachments off of people. Like I said, every now and then I get one that sticks to me, but we're able to get it off. It's just so important to have your energy clear and clean and nothing being stuck to you or blocking you from being your best you.
Yeah. So I couldn't understate how beneficial Qigong is and how important it is. And it's something that, we'll do for the rest of our life. You never have to give it up. Even at 90, you don't have to give it up. You could always keep going with it. Even with, say, I've taught it to people that are wheelchair bound, because you could still gather energy. It's your consciousness first, and recognizing that you can draw energy into your body. And, now we have with Carolyn photography as well as other machines, you could go and see what your energy field looks like. And I remember, like 20 years ago, talking to some people and they just didn't even believe that chakras existed or the meridians. Well, yeah, they do. So they've been, in the East, they've been right about this reality for thousands of years, thousands and thousands of years. And now science can show you exactly what your chakras look like. And now we also understand how things work at a quantum level. And, really we're in this ocean of consciousness. So, we've worked on people, and we work on people every week from like Australia and New Zealand and Europe. We're thousands of miles away from them, and they feel the energy as soon as we start to send it. Almost everybody does. I would say like 99% of the people feel the energy and feel the benefits. And this is key in the time coming up, because we're going to need strong immune systems. We're going to need peace of mind. We're going to need to be able to shift out of fight or flight. And one of the other things that we do every day without fail is mantras, and sometimes multiple times, 2 or 3 times a day. If I can't sleep, I'll do mantras, and that will put me into a beautiful place of rest. And I feel that the Sanskrit mantras are way more powerful than an affirmation that perhaps is in English, because as you know, English is all about spelling. It's all about cursive. The English has been constructed to be basically a curse upon those that speak it. It's something that has been put together very, very consciously in order to keep us into a limited frame of being and a limited vibration. Sanskrit is totally different. And as you see here, Sanskrit's not an ordinary human language. It's often referred to as the language of the gods, or perhaps it's the language of the programming of the matrix that we find ourselves in.
Well, yeah, and I'm looking at Sanskrit now thinking it is put together in a deliberate way, but deliberately to help you and to release certain energies and hold on to other energies. So in a way, it's like the polar opposite of our English language.
It is. And of course, we'll get some people that say, well, when you're doing that, you're praying to demons. And, that just shows extreme ignorance. Because I can tell you of so many people, dozens and dozens, hundreds of people that I've worked with. And after doing the mantras, you know what? Hey, I no longer have to take this medicine. Hey, no longer am I suicidal. Hey, no longer do I even have certain aches and pains, or trouble sleeping, or migraines, or insomnia. It's changing them in a good way. So how is that the work of demons? And when demons actually comes from the Greek daemon, which is a nature spirit, or even a higher, more benevolent intelligence. But of course, in this world, it's all about inversion. It's all about sleight of hand. It's all about deception. And, that is the system in place, is all about making you afraid of the things that will actually help you. And instead, convincing you, all you got to do is take this right here. That's all you need. You need this medicine and you're good. In reality, well, what does that cause? Well, it could cause cancer. It could cause insomnia. It could cause hair loss. It could cause vomiting. It could cause bloody diarrhea. You really want to do that? Or do you want to maybe vibrate an om and feel it resonate through your body and give you clarity? As we look into this deeper, you see, in yogic scriptures, there's a direct correlation with each of the sounds of the Sanskrit alphabet and the chakras. Each of the letters of the Sanskrit alphabet is said to open one of the 50 petals of the chakras. The 50 letters, sounds, in the Sanskrit alphabet have a vibrational correspondence to the 50 petals, the concentrated energy centers that are located within the first 6 chakras. And, you could also view this as the petal being a ray, and we've heard also about the different rays of energy. Every color has its own frequency. Every color has its own healing effect on the energy body.
Mm-hmm. It does. And, we're learning more and more and more how important vibration is. Music therapy, sound healers are really into a lot of these different kinds of therapy where the vibration around you starts to organize your aura and your chakras in such a way where you're getting maximum information, and that's what our bodies need to stay healthy.
Yeah, even when you look at 440 and 432 hertz, now people recognize different frequencies can really help them. And so you have all those different solfeggio videos that you could listen to that will really literally change your mood. They really can. Music can be a therapy for sure, because everything is energy, everything is vibration, frequency, resonance. We have to realize, what we're listening to and how it's affecting us. And then we could get into all the subliminals out there, because there's a ton of subliminals out there, especially in advertising and things like that are, just sending us these different messages out there, which may not be beneficial. So, one of the things that I found to be the most uplifting that I've experienced is kirtans. And kirtan is basically, it's music and mantra when you get down to it. So you have two things going at the same time. And often when at these kirtans, people would just spontaneously get up and start to dance, start to move, just in a joyous expression of love. And that was really something that I just enjoyed tremendously in, times past when gatherings were okay. And so this is a friend in Sarasota Joe, who leads a kirtan on Friday nights in Sarasota at Unity Church. If anybody's ever interested in the area, and I do hear that life is kind of pretty normal in Florida, from what we've heard from some of the people in Florida that we're in contact with. And so, it's just a joyous expression. It's wonderful. And, we enjoyed it so much being part of it. And all different sorts of instruments. People could bring their own instruments. And we would do chants, not just in Sanskrit. We would do some English songs. We would sometimes blend them together. And we'd even do mantras and chants in the Hebrew as well. As Hebrew has a certain vibrancy to it as well that has a lot more power than the English language. So, this is something that's wonderful that you could do to really uplift you, and the energy is just amazing to experience.
It is. It really is. And having all of those people vibrating at such a high level, it's going to bring relief to the body, the mind, and the soul. And then here we have the fasting pyramid. This is probably the easiest. Mike is pointing out, drmindypels.com. Yeah, she's very, very good, especially for women out there, because our hormones are a little bit different. So when women fast, it's best to do it at a certain time of your cycle to get the maximum benefit, so you're not causing any hormonal imbalances, because you can use it to actually balance yourself when you do it right. This is probably the easiest, cheapest way to raise your vibration super fast in a snap.
Yeah, there's different types of fasting. The most difficult one is a dry fast, and so that's generally not something you would start with. You want to build there. The easiest one's intermittent, which is just something that we pretty much do every day for the most part, as typically we'll eat in about a 4 to 6 hour window. And, some days we just eat once. It's just that simple. We don't need as much as we think we need. And going into a totally different age, as we're leaving the Kali Yuga, and, some think we're already out of it. We're heading into a time where we're going to be more energetic, less dense. And we hope that the politicians will become less dense and the world leaders less dense as well. And we really will be benefiting from all these things that we're talking about more and more and more. And that's going to become apparent. And already there's a lot of people out there that, maybe they used to love, big juicy steaks. Now they just can't do it. People that used to eat, 3 meals a day and a couple of snacks, and now they're down to maybe 2 meals a day and no snacks. Things are just changing. Our bodies are changing. Our consciousness is changing. Everything is changing. So intermittent fasting, daily 13 to 16 hour fast between meals. And that's something that just gives your body time for, rest and digest and some of the benefits. Then you could do a 1 day fast. There's so many different things you could do. A 36 to 48 hour water fast is very powerful. 3 to 5 day water fast is something that honestly I used to do on a much more regular basis than I have been. I think subconsciously I know that things are coming that are going to make it difficult to, have all the food we always did have. We're heading into, a period where it's going to be tougher. Like today we went to go shopping, and the first, store we went to, line is around the block. So you're going to wait like an hour or two to get into the store. Just to start your shopping. And by the way, we drive, like an hour each way to get to a store because we're way out there. Purpose. Now, when you look at this is a fasting benefit chart. It shows you, just how powerful this can be. Many people don't realize that, after a certain point of time, you start producing stem cells. Stem cells are so powerful. That's huge to produce new stem cells. Well, how about autophagy and HGH? Human growth hormone gets produced as well, as you look at the more of the reddish line there. So, HGH production and autophagy peak at about 3 days. So a 3 day water fast is amazingly powerful. And when we say that, you could have tea or you could have coffee, just don't add anything to it. It would have to be black, no calories, basically no calories. You don't want to spike your insulin at all. So, you start getting into ketosis where you're actually burning the body fat. If we're constantly taking food in, you're not going to be burning the body fat. So, and the fat is where toxins are stored. So when you see the purple, that's your total immune system reboot. That's amazing. Autophagy is basically cleaning out things that eventually will become cancerous or diseased. And when we go back to the time when we were hunter-gatherers, we didn't eat every day. There was days you didn't eat, and then there's other days that you kind of feasted. And so what did that do to us? Well, it gave the body time to get rid of cells. Cancer is much more of a recent phenomenon due to lifestyle and environmental issues. So, those things got broken down because the first cells that break down in your body, when your body's going to go and start breaking down cells for energy, is something that is not functioning properly. It's a built-in beautiful system of clearing out the garbage, so to speak.
I know, and I get myself excited about doing this using visualization and other things. Like I love looking at this chart, so when we start a fast, I can see how far I am and understand, wow, this is what I have done and this is what's happening in my body. And I also visualize my cells cleaning house, dusting out the cobwebs, everything that's not functioning at its highest is going to go, and that's just completely benefiting me from moment to moment. My body is getting healthier, better, stronger. So this is something very exciting, and you can really get yourself motivated by understanding what's happening to your body and when.
I would always notice that like little aches and pains, old injuries, things like that would just disappear after like a 3 to 5 day water fast. A lot of things would just be gone. And I'd be like, wow, I used to have a little bit of this there, whatever it is, but it would be gone. And inflammation is one of the things. Well, inflammation is at the root of pretty much all disease, as disease is dis-ease, and the inflammatory response. So if you're eating simple sugars, if you're taking in all these dyes, if you're eating, GMO foods, etc., all these things cause inflammation in the body, which again is going to end up causing dis-ease. So, if you're drinking soda pop, Cokes, Pepsis, things like that, it's horrible poison to the body. It really is. It's going to give you that, insulin response, get you into a high, and then you crash. But it does horrible things to the body. There's so many changes that we can do. Eat as natural as possible, as few ingredients and things as possible, as much just whole plain foods. That's the bulk of what we eat, is just basically veggies are the biggest component of our diet. Veggies first, and then, we'll have rice, lentils, beans. We do have organic flours that, we'll make bread with, things along those lines, and fruit as well, and it's just a key thing to avoid the processed foods, because those are going to set you up for a disaster. So, no more Twinkies, which will stay good for 30 years. All the garbage foods, and, you could wean yourself off of them over time. It's imperative for what's coming, guys, because we're going to be living in very stressful time. This is going to be stressful on us. And so we have to eat as healthy as possible. We have to take care of the mind, body, and spirit complex.
Mm-hmm. And when we do these fasts, I notice I become a lot happier. My anxiety goes down. I feel more gratitude. And it's really good for the gut and the mind connection, for all those that might have a little bit of depression, or you might be kind of moody, or you might have anxiety. The fasting also helps address that. And you just can't beat it. And I would only suggest that you go through some of her videos and understand, the processes, like how do you go into a fast, and then how do you break a fast? Because breaking a fast, you can create a lot of inflammation, and you don't want to do that. You want to break it easily, gently, and she goes over all of this information for you.
Exactly. Yeah, there's so many ways we could benefit ourselves, and so as I've shared with you guys in the past as well. I mean, one of the things I did years and years ago was get certified as a fitness trainer and studied nutrition, and as well as being a massage therapist, so I understand the hands-on as far as the body goes as well. And then, of course, the Reiki, Pranic healing, QiGong, medical QiGong. So it gives you, it's given me a more complete picture of how things work, and understanding body, but also understanding the spiritual aspects of it. I just did because I enjoyed it, like running boot camps and stuff on a Saturday morning, just, getting people exercising and feeling good. Just because it's pure pleasure to me. I always envisioned that these things all go hand in hand, and it's part of yoga's theory as well, that it takes a strong, healthy body to keep us in a high spiritual vibration. So it's something that shouldn't be neglected. So guys, we want to thank you for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Make sure that you're subscribed and have the bell clicked to both channels. And stay prepared out there. Keep spreading the good vibes. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.